So let me go ahead and bring out our friend Mr. Max Anderson. Hey guys, we were supposed to leave earlier, right after this. He's like, I'm not leaving one Canadian unhappy. So we're extending our trip a little longer. We're going to leave later tonight. So, with no delays, the man himself, Stanley.
Don't want to hear what I have to say. Well, I'm going to say one thing, and nobody can stop me. You are the greatest fans in the whole world. When I come to Toronto, you make me feel as though I'm at home. In fact, I was trying to get somebody to give me my weekly allowance, but I couldn't. But no kidding, you're great, and I hope that... Wait a minute, do I see an empty chair? There's one empty chair, I'm leaving. Oh no, somebody's over there, that's all right. Now, why are we here?
Well, Stan, before we get started, you're a big baseball fan, right?
Everybody's a big baseball fan.
How do you feel about the Toronto Blue Jays?
They're the best. Can I have it?
That's yours.
You hold it if I don't lose it? My window in the hotel faces inside the stadium. So when I open the window, all I see is the big stadium, and I can't tell if it's sunny or rainy. I can't see the outside. I want my money back. What are we doing here?
Well, Stan, I'm just going to let Max take over. I'm sure he's got a bunch of questions for you. We've got a lot of people in the audience with a bunch of questions. A lot of people that really... Sir, you're going to need to keep it down. This is his last ever meeting. No, I'm not going to let you do this. I'm not going to let you do this. Sir, you're going to have to quiet down. I don't care. I don't care. You're going to escort him out. Look, you know, him out. He seems pretty angry. Stand up.
Is that Joe Quesada?
You know that, Joe. Anyway, come on up here, Joe. If you're going to be such a golly, Joe. I mean, if this guy's going to make all this noise, might as well hear what this guy has to say. If he's such a big deal. Welcome to the stage. Take your mic.
Joe. Stan. Joe, I'm glad to see you, but this is my panel. Go away.
You did this to me once. Stan, I have a question for you. All right? One simple question. How does it feel to be so damn awesome?
I'm so what?
Awesome!
Well, I've always been awesome.
Yeah, no, what does it feel like?
I take awesome pills. This is better. I'll give you a subscription to my pill.
Fantastic.
Do you have a form letter that he has to fill out?
Is it like if you're awesome for more than 4 hours, call a doctor kind of thing?
He says I'm awesome. This guy is the creative head of Marvel. He draws like you never saw such good artwork, but he doesn't have time to do it. He's too busy running Marvel. And he says, I'm awesome. Joe, you're the greatest.
Thank you, Stan. You know, I'm going to leave you to your panel, but I'm going to say something that I'm sure my sentiment is the same as everyone else's here. Thank you for saving my life and giving me a creative spark that got me started on the road to be able to not just work at Marvel, but have the honor to sit in your chair, keep it warm for a little bit. Just thank you. Thank you for the road. Thank you.
Well, that was a nice speech. Where's the money? You know, words, I don't see a paycheck coming out of it. All right, we'll do that later.
Thank you, Stan.
Joe, thank you for coming.
Let's hear for Joe Quesada, everybody. Joe Quesada, everybody.
Now we can tell the truth about him. All right, stop kidding around and let's start kidding around.
So here's the big question, Stan. Are we having a great time here or not?
It's adequate, it's all right. Of course we're having a great time. This is Toronto, isn't it? Where else would I travel 3,000, maybe 4,000 miles to do a panel, but in Toronto? Huh? Yeah, I left sunny Los Angeles and I come to sunnier Toronto. This is wonderful.
Hey, so we're going to start lining up some people real quick to get some questions. But here's a story, and I think you probably relate to a lot of you guys.
Before you start the question, I'll tell you something. Even though I look like the most perfect physical specimen you will ever see, I do have some flaws. I can't hear worth a damn. So when you ask your questions, he will repeat them to me because I won't be able to hear them from the audience. So, bear with us. I mean, he speaks slowly and he's dull as hell. He's the only guy I can find who volunteered to answer the question for me. All right, get going.
All right, I want to take a quick story that we met a guy earlier today. It kind of touched him and touched me, and it kind of made me think about myself. We were having breakfast, and the guy comes up and tells us, "Hey Stan, I just want to take a minute of your time to tell you something." And we said, okay. We figured it's going to be the typical, "I love you, you're the greatest man in the world, blah, 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 blah." But it was different. The guy says, he goes, "I grew up without a father. My father died when I was young, so I never had a father figure. And growing up, everybody wants to have a father in their life, good or bad. But the guy never had one. So growing up, he read his books. And at night, he would go to sleep reading these books, thinking in his head that it's actually Stan reading to him." So for years he kept doing that, growing up. And he wanted to come by and say, "Thank you for letting me be the man that I am now and the father that I am to my kids. Because what I didn't have, you gave me. And what you gave me, I'm giving to my kids. And I just wanted to say thank you." And that was just like a home run for you guys. So
If you're going to be serious, I'm getting you the hell out of here. Come on, let's have some fun.
let's have some fun. Start with the questions, guys.
Hi Stan, how are you?
Who's that?
Right here. Thank you for coming. We all love you. I just wanted to tell you that you, just like the story that was told right now, like I grew up with your stories and with Spider-Man. It saved me actually at school. There was a lot of bullies over there, and I actually got a basic morals, I learned a lot about morals and the ethics of Spider-Man Peter Parker, and I just wanted to thank you for that. My question to you is, the show Lucky Man that just came out recently, can you just give us a background, how did you come up with that concept, and are there any new stories or characters or shows that are coming up that you've created recently? Thank you.
Are there any new? Oh, I hope so. Well, Lucky Man, I came up with that because very often when I go to panels like this, one of the questions which would be asked is, what do you think is the greatest superpower of all? And I think I would surprise the audience by saying, I think luck would be the greatest superpower. Because if you think about it, if you have unfailing good luck, and you're a superhero, and somebody shoots at you, they'll miss because you're lucky. Whatever happens, it'll be good for you because you're lucky. So why didn't I come up with a lucky superhero? And I'm going to tell you the reason. I can't think of a costume that a lucky superhero would wear. So I never did one. But then when I was talking to the guys at the network about a show, and they said, "Do you have any ideas?" I thought for television, he wouldn't need a costume. So I said, let's do a guy with a lot of luck. And we got together and talked about blah, blah, blah. And it turned out pretty good. So we have the show now. It's called Stanley's Lucky Man. And if you're not watching it, you better watch it or you'll hear from me.
Thank you very much, Stan. Thank you for coming. Come on, sir.
My pleasure.
Hi, Stan. I'm sorry, I'm actually crying. I have mental illness, and superheroes have always been, very much been a safe haven for me. because I find that I can relate to them because they're different, they see things in a different way, they have to deal with their own challenges. So I was just wondering what you think one of the most meaningful challenges a superhero you've created has ever gone through.
Well, actually, I think all of the characters at Marvel touch the core or try to. Every one of them should represent something, some good quality that would make you feel better about or make you try to have for yourself when you read the stories. And you know, superhero stories are really like fairy tales. When you're very young, you read fairy tales, and they have witches and dragons and goblins and things like that. But they always have a little moral at the end of the story. And I used to think that our superhero stories are a lot like that. They're fairy tales for grown-ups, for people who are older, who are too old to read fairy tales. But it's the same thing. You have people with special powers who can do special things, and you have to be careful to write those stories so that they inspire people rather than make them go the other way. The hero has to be somebody who'd make you feel that maybe there is justice in life, and maybe there is an important mission for all of us, including me as you read the story. And I forgot what I was leading up to. I didn't mean to make such a long speech, but I hope that's in response to what you said.
Yes, thank you, Stan.
Thank you.
Hi, Stan. I'm wondering...
Where is that coming from? Right here? Right. Are they all coming from there?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Put everybody right in front of you.
I can't see either. I mean, that's all I see is a black blur.
Maybe like everybody to just come right up in front of you and ask.
Good idea. Okay, now I see there's a living person there. In fact, there's a whole bunch of them.
He's wearing a Batman versus Superman shirt.
Oh gosh. I'm out of numbers though. Here we go.
You've had so many awesome cameos over the years, and one of the rumors is that they might all be connected and that you might actually be playing the Watcher for Marvel. Any truth behind that? Do you have any superpowers that you're hiding?
Do I have any superpowers?
Besides the obvious ones.
I did a cameo recently that has to do, in a way, with the Watcher. And this guy here, who is my conscience, he tells me I'm not allowed to talk about it because that cameo hasn't come out yet. But when you see it,
You just got about as much as you're going to get about it.
what did he say?
Let's just talk about it, but we can't.
You can't.
Well, it's funny because it's not saying what you're asking the question. It's funny because we hear it all the time. And he just did he did 4 cameos, 3 that are the Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and then a little secret one that another company did that's tied into all of that. But he can't talk about it honestly, guys. I wish he could.
I like talking about the cameos. I love those cameos. Oh, did I tell you? The cameos are the reason that Marvel makes so much money, and I'll explain why. Now, the reason is, you go to the movie with your girlfriend, or if you're a girl, you go with your boyfriend, or some of you may go a girl and a girl, or a boy and a boy. It's up to you. But anyway, you're with a friend in the movie, and you're watching the movie, a Marvel movie, of course, and you're watching the movie, and suddenly, I don't know, you drop a piece of popcorn, you bend down to get it or something. The second that you bend down, you've missed my cameo. because they only last a couple of seconds. So what happens? Nobody wants to miss a cameo. When the movie ends, you go back to the box office and you buy another 2 tickets so you can sit through the movie and not miss one cameo. And that's why the movies make so much money. Everybody buys 2 tickets. And it's all because of that cameo.
Now, Stan, you can't talk about the cameo itself, but what did you think about being on the set of Doctor Strange, who's my favorite Marvel character?
Always one of my favorite characters. I love being on the set. And I saw all the mystical, magical things that were being done. Are you all familiar with the various incantations that Doctor Strange would utter? You know, years ago, if you did a corny cartoon or something about a magician and he wanted to make a magic spell, he'd go abracadabra. Well, I wasn't about to have my magician say abracadabra. So I made up spells for him, like, by the hoary hosts of August, let it be, and things like that. I just hope they're using those in the movie, and if they are and you see them, I want you all to remember, I heard that first from Stan Lee. It'll give you such a feeling of pride.
I'll give you guys a treat. Since we can't talk about the cameo, I can show you something, which I know we're okay to do.
How are they going to see that little thing?
We got a camera.
They're all over the place.
See if I can get a camera to focus on this.
We're throwing the AV guys.
Can you guys focus on that? Can you see it? It's right here. Can you guys see that? No? Maybe?
How can they see that?
I'm trying to work it, you stand? Jesus Christ.
Next time I'm going to come to these panels by myself.
What it is, when we went to go do the Spider-Man cameo, we didn't know, but Tom was there practicing. And I don't know, again, if you can see it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He turns it away.
There's 6 guys, stuntmen, and all of these 6 are the ones that actually played all the Spider-Mans through all the movies. Awesome stuff. And then there's Stan and Tom and his best friend Holland, not Holland, but Wade. They're having dinner together. And then the last one, which was the best one, that's when Tom went to go do his stunt. He said, hey Stan, check this out. They put him on a harness and he takes off, climbs a wall, I don't know, 30, 50 feet up in the air, comes right down, and next thing you know, he goes, that isn't hard, I can do that. Next thing you know, the guy's about to put the harness, no, watch me, and he starts, it's like those indoor climbing things, you know what I'm talking about? He starts trying to do that, I'm like, oh my God, he's gonna drop. But he didn't, but that was our big thing with Spider-Man.
The thing that I don't understand, and you're going to have, I know that I'm a little behind the times. I'm a little bit old-fashioned and I don't understand things. How, when a guy holds up something like this, how the hell do all of you see it? What are you holding it up for? I don't believe that guy in that last row can see this.
On either side,
What?
on either side of you, there's
What?
big monitors.
Where? Oh, well, why am I sitting there? I want to see myself. Hey, this gal is working harder than we are.
True hero.
Hey, you're wonderful. Thank you for doing that. That's great. How do you ever learn to do that? Boy, that's terrific.
Deaf people are applauding you here in the front row.
Oh, isn't that nice? Well, I'm practically one of you because I don't hear well at all. Anyway, thank you very much. And next time I want to sit near the screen so I can see me. They're having all the fun watching me and I don't even see me. Gotta organize these things differently.
Next question, please.
Was there a question?
Yes, there is.
You were doing so much talking, you forgot what the question was.
Hi, Stan. My question is, how'd you come up with the phrase Excelsior?
Oh. I hate to knock DC.
Really? Yeah, you're well known for not doing that, right?
But years ago, I was using little expressions like "nuff said" and things like that, and I found them cropping up in the DC magazines, and that bothered me. So I said, I'm going to find an expression that they won't know what it means, they won't know how to spell it, so they won't be able to copy it. And I lived in the state of New York, and the Great Seal of the state of New York is a very intricate design with the word Excelsior in the middle of it. So I looked Excelsior up. It has two meanings. One meaning, it's the stuff that you put in packages when you send them so that the thing inside the package won't break. That little stuff that is in all packages, that didn't do me any good. But the second meaning of Excelsior is an old English meaning which means upward and onward to greater glory. Now what could be a better thing than that? So I started saying Excelsior, and they still haven't figured out what it means in DC. And they'll never know how to spell it. So I love that word.
Thank you.
All the other people in line are saying, boy, if it takes him that long to answer a question, he'll never get to me.
Mr. Stanley Lee, my question is the robust trouble. If you had the choice to go back and start all over again, and what would you do? Would you pursue comics or would you pursue something else?
Yeah, I actually maybe a miracle is taking place of getting my hearing back. And anyway, I follow just everything I did. I love doing comics. I gotta say, I love the comic strip format. I love the idea of reading what the people are saying and looking at what they're doing at the same time. I'm a big name dropper, so I'll tell you that one day I was talking to Steven Spielberg, and he said to me, you know, Stan, you and I do pretty much the same thing, except my pictures move. And I thought that was a real nice thing to say, and very true. Now, a lot of people have said, I don't know, I don't think it's a good thing to read comics, because you should have to use your imagination. You shouldn't see what's happening in the drawing. But if they think about it, take Shakespeare. He was not a bad writer, they tell me. If you go to see a Shakespeare play, and he wrote, everything he wrote was for a play. You see the actors, you hear what they say, and you also see what they're doing on the stage. So nobody ever says, nah, I wouldn't go see a Shakespeare play because you see the actors doing it. And it's the same with comics are just like reading Shakespeare. There's a new one for you. Stanley? You didn't hear that one before, did you? No. You never said that before. It's the first time I ever said that. So he should be amazed. Remember that it was very clever. Remember to tell me to say that next time I'm at a convention.
Tell them how you met, you had that balloon catching of the guy that made Avatar.
James Cameron.
James Cameron.
What about it? Remember that little balloon when you met him? You created that balloon above his picture?
A balloon above his picture. I also have no memory. I like drawing, I like taking photographs and writing funny captions for them. To lead up to James Cameron, I was once in a place where I was with President Reagan, and we were both sitting at a table, and I was facing him. I was here, he was there, the table was between us. Now, I'm sitting next to the ex-president of the United States. What do you say to make conversation with the ex-president of the United States? All I could think of was, gosh, Mr. Reagan, you must be so happy you're finished being president and you don't have the cares of the world on your shoulders anymore. And he looked at me wide-eyed and he said, no, I love being president. And I'll never forget that, his boyish enthusiasm. Now, what did that have to do with what you said? I have a photograph. I have a photograph of James Cameron was at my house once for some reason. Probably yelled at me or something.
Maybe he was doing the lawn or something.
And
He was there for a party, and he takes photos of everybody. And then later on, he does these films, which he'll explain.
he was bending over me like he was asking a question and I was giving him an answer on the photograph. So I wrote on the photograph something like a dialogue balloon over his head, something like, tell me, Stan, tell me about special effects. I'd like to learn all about them. Was it something like that?
It was 3D.
3D, yeah. So I taught Jim all about 3D.
The photograph's like this, Jim's like,
It's funny. I used to do a book of photographs called You Don't Say. I did that for Marvel. And I took pictures of politicians and I'd write stupid bits of dialogue that it looked like they were saying, but of course they weren't saying it. And the book sold so well. And I said to my idiot publisher, let's do more of them. And he said, nah, I don't think our readers want humor. And he never would do any more. But I saved my copy, and one day it'll be worth $10, $20. Any more questions?
let's go.
Hi, my favorite superhero is Hawkeye, and I was wondering if you think he can carry his own movie.
Can Hawkeye? Can Hawkeye carry his own movie? Oh, Hawkeye.
Of course, he's one of my characters. Now, to tell you the truth, it all depends on who's writing it and what the angle is. I think any one of our characters could carry his or her own movie. In fact, any character anywhere, even, if you'll forgive me for saying it, even a DC character could carry his or her own movie. They just have to know, and they haven't learned it yet, how to do the movie.
Or maybe you should make a cameo in there to help them out.
They're crazy not to have asked me to do a cameo. You know, they did ask me to do a set of books years ago. I don't know if any of you saw them. What were they called?
Just imagine.
Just imagine if Stan Lee had created, and I did Superman and Batman and The Flash and Wonder Woman and all of them, as though they hadn't been written before, as though I had created them. And I did that whole set of books, and I always wondered, why would DC want me to do that? And the stories I wrote, as you can imagine, were wonderful. But that was the end of it. They never made movies. I think they felt they wouldn't know if they'd have to pay Marvel or how it would work or what. How did we get on that? I know I want to answer serious questions, and you keep getting me sidetracked. I want you to be in charge of the serious question. This man, I can't follow him.
Next question.
Hi, Stan. It's Mark from Montreal. Questions to ask in this, but please do not give the answer. They're all good. I like them all, and they're just all great. The question is, what is your favorite superhero character that you have done? And who is your favorite actor? Who have you worked with? And all the characters.
You know, it's the most amazing thing. Every panel, the one question that is asked the most is, who is your favorite character? Or what is your favorite food? Everything has to do with favorite. So I try to live my life as though whatever I do, he's become my favorite guy on stage. You're my favorite audience. This is my favorite chair. Anyway, my favorite character, I really don't have a favorite character because I love them all. I love the Silver Surfer. I love the Doctor Strange. I love Spider-Man. I love the Hulk. All of them. But when people ask me that question, I want to make them happy. So I always say, Spider-Man is my favorite character. And everybody in the audience goes, yay! So anyway, Spider-Man is my favorite.
What about the favorite actor? The favorite actor you work with?
Well, I think maybe Robert Downey Jr. I was with him the other day. You know, this is so funny. You got people way over there and way over there. I don't want them to be annoyed. I'm trying to look there. I'm trying to look there. I'm getting a headache. Robert Downey Jr., I said to him, does anybody ever call you Bob? And he said, I didn't expect that answer. He said, yeah, sure. You can call me Bob. You can call me Bobo. You can call me Robbo. I don't care. It sounded so unlike Robert Downey Jr. So I now call him Bobo. So he's my favorite so far.
Hi, Stan. I've always heard that you never wanted them to kill Gwen Stacy. And
No, I'm not bloodthirsty.
my question is, what would you have done with her and Peter if she hadn't ever died?
Oh, I would have had fun. Spider-Man would have had 2 girlfriends. Better than one. No, what happened was, it was really odd. In one of my stories, I killed Captain Stacy, her father. And I thought it was kind of dramatic because he wasn't supposed to know that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But as he lay dying, he said to Spider-Man, take care of my daughter, Peter. And Spider-Man knew that Captain Stacy had always known that he was Spider-Man, but didn't do anything about it. And I thought that was a very dramatic and touching moment in the comics. Then, for some reason, I had to go to Europe, and I asked Jerry Conway to write Spider-Man until I got back. So when I got back, I found out he had killed Gwen Stacy. And I said, I just killed Captain Stacy, now you killed his daughter. What have you got against the Stacy family? But he had killed her, and I couldn't do anything about it except try to fire him. But they somehow keep bringing her back, don't they?
Yeah, they got Spider-Gwen now.
That's
What do you
right.
think about Spider-Gwen?
I haven't read it really. My eyesight isn't that good anymore, so I can't read the comics. I hear about these things and I marvel at them. Spider-Man, I don't understand it, but he'll explain it to me and confuse me even more later on. Did I answer the question?
Yes.
Okay. What was the question? Doesn't matter.
Hi, Stanley. Thank you. I've been a huge fan of Wolverine since I was 6 years old. I just find out S.H.I.E.L.D. recently, and I wanted to know if is there a chance S.H.I.E.L.D. will be in a movie or will be back on comics soon, because I think she's not has been explored completely as a character. S.H.I.E.L.D.
See, my problem is I heard everything she said, but I couldn't make out the words. I just heard the sounds. What were the words? It's Stacy. Oh, Oh, I'm gonna give you the most honest answer I've ever given anyone. I really do not know. I have not discussed that with anybody, and nobody mentioned it to me. And Joan and Joe Quesada ran out of here before we could ask them. So I don't know. I don't know any more about it than you do. See, now that's as humble as I've ever been.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome so much. Is it coming from there? It's sounding to me. Well, the speaker is there. That doesn't mean the person is there. That's where the voice of the person is there, but the speaker is there. It's very interesting. The speaker, I look where I hear it, but it's not coming from where I hear it.
Stereo.
These panels are very difficult to handle.
Hi, Mr. Lee. My name is Valerie, and my question is, if you could choose one person, a colleague or a friend, to do all upcoming cameos with you in all the other Marvel movies that are come up, who would you choose?
Uh-oh. She's asking, I know the answer. She's asking if you could pick one person to be along with you in all the cameos that you're doing from here on out, who would it be?
Gwen Stacy.
But he doesn't know. I tell him sometimes, I'll tell you a Guardian movie, when he did his cameo. You guys saw the Guardian first? Girl? I was in that cameo. But they cut me out. It was like him and the girl, and they were having their dialogue. I was just right here doing exactly what I'm doing because they're having a conversation. I was like, oh my God, please don't let his wife hear this. Don't let his wife hear this. And then the camera was zoomed in. Okay, that was that. Then I did another cameo, which you'll catch like that in the bar scene for Ant-Man. When the guy comes up and he says, what it was, Superfly or something, right when the guy says it to Stan, I'm to the right side of the guy like this, having my drink. I sneak in. Who doesn't know it?
They're gonna hear from me at the studio.
And the reason being sometimes, it's like, they say, we gotta make this happen. He's doing something or he's at home. And they'll say, Max will do whatever it takes. And I'm like, They say, really? And I go, yeah, whatever it takes.
From now on, you will not even be on the set when they do.
Thank you so much.
That was the most terrible answer. And on top of that, she says, thanks so much. What would she have said if you gave a good answer?
Hello, Stan. My name is Addy. I loved you for my whole life. I'm an artist myself, and just thank you for everything you've created. It's a dream come true to meet you and hear you. Thanks for X-Men, everything, Spider-Man, and everything. I can barely talk, but I wanted to ask you. I believe that you've made some amazing things all your whole life, but I personally feel that love is the greatest superpower. So I was always wondering, is there a love story that you wanted to put in the comics that you never got to do, like, just because things were too complicated? Because I always wanted Wolverine to get with Jean Grey, but it never happened. But like, did you ever want to say have Spider-Man hook up with She-Hulk or something, or just a love story where their powers just couldn't make it happen, or something?
No. Because if I wanted to, I could make anything happen. I tried to get some romance in the Spider-Man book with Gwen and Mary Jane before that idiot killed Gwen. Or Mary Jane, I forgot who was killed. And I tried to show a little bit in the Fantastic Four. Reed was married to his wife and they loved each other. And there must have been other things that I did. Romance is very important in a script as well as in real life. The one thing someday I want to do is get my wife in one of the stories. That would be fun.
Oh, hang on a second right there. You have your wife in there. Listen to this story.
In a story?
You tell me, listen to this story. I'm going to tell him to bring it up, but you tell me if it's not the same thing. Tell him how you met your wife. No, first tell him, Peter Parker, how you met
Peter Parker saw Mary Jane. I thought that was one of the best written and the nicest panels that I ever wrote. And I was so surprised they didn't use it in the movie. When Peter Parker first meets Mary Jane, you know, he was a teenager and his aunt was always telling him, there is this nice girl who's next door to us. She's the daughter of a friend of mine. And you ought to meet her. She's so nice. Now, most teenage boys do not want to meet a girl who's described as nice. If Aunt May had said she's sexy or, you know what I mean, but nice. So Peter had been avoiding meeting Mary Jane for issue after issue. So in one story, in the last panel, the doorbell rings or something happens, and Peter has to go to open the door. And he opens the door. This was the last panel of the story. And there is Mary Jane, looking as gorgeous and as sexy as John Romita could draw her. And John Romita is the best. And he looks at this gorgeous creature, and she says, face it, type, you hit the jackpot. And I thought that was such a great panel, and I can't understand why they didn't use that in the first Spider-Man movie. And is that answering your question, or am I just going on?
Now, tell him, just fast forward, just to the part where you came to knock on that door where your wife was at.
Oh.
Listen to this. Tell me if it's not the same thing. He doesn't believe me, but you guys tell me.
When I got out of the Army, I was looking for romance, and a friend of mine said he arranged a blind date for me with a model at a model agency. So I went over there, I think her name was Betty, and I was going to knock on the door and ask for Betty. And the door opened up. Oh, I have to give you a preface. When I was a kid, like most guys, I used to draw. Weren't the greatest drawings in the world, but I was always drawing girls. My idea of what the prettiest girl in the world would look like. And I would draw that girl over and over again. I was 12 years old, 14 years old. I was drawing that girl. So I went to the model agency. The door just opened up. And the girl that I had been drawing all the time opened the door. She was gorgeous. And it wasn't the girl I was supposed to meet. It was just, she was the head model and she happened to open the door. And then she said, may I help you? And she had this English accent, and I'm a nut for English accents. And I looked at this gorgeous creature, and I think I said something like, I love you. Anyhow, we ended up having lunch. And a short time later, we got married. I never did meet Eddie, the girl I was supposed to meet. And that's the story. I mean, I don't like to waste time. She was the girl I wanted. I said, you'll marry me? She said, okay. And
am I right? Am I fair? He doesn't believe me.
Thank you for your dreams, Stan. I love you.
Oh, he's been married.
66, either 66 or 67 years. We keep thinking we're going to stay with it until we get it right.
Hey Stan, my name is Nick and I'm from New Brunswick. Nice to meet you. Stan, you earlier said that you think you're behind the times, and I actually have to totally disagree with that, because when you created the X-Men, when you created Black Panther, you were so far ahead of the times. You were a guy that promoted social change. And if you look around the room now, you see people of various ethnicities, of color, of bisexuality, of all the gender spectrum. And I'm wondering, have you ever thought of yourself as somebody that was a promoter of social change in the way that you have been in to be influencing so many millions of people?
No, I never thought of myself that way, but I'm very happy to hear you say that. In fact, you may have read in the States they're having a problem in some cities between the police and the black people who the black people don't feel they're being treated fairly and so forth. And I have made up a pin that shows two hands, clasped like that, a black hand and a white hand, and the word respect above the pin. And I've been sending that to different police chiefs in different cities to get the police to wear it and to get the black people in the neighborhood to
Everybody to wear it. It's on the website called handsofrespect.com.
And I hope it will bring some awareness of the fact that we all live one life and we're all in this together. And damn it, we ought to be friendly and respect each other.
Thank you very much for being such a wonderful person and telling such wonderful stories throughout your life. It's been an honor.
Thank you.
Hi Stan, I'd just like to know if you'd ever have liked to have done anything with Jerry Siegel or Joe Shuster, the creators of Superman.
Actually, Simon and Schuster, Joe Simon and Jeff, no, that's the publisher. Jerry Siegel and Josie. Jerry Siegel worked for me for a while. Believe it or not, the guy who drew Superman, the guy who created Superman, the writer, at some point wasn't working for DC. I don't remember what happened, but I pulled him into Marvel and gave him a job as a proofreader at our office. And he was the nicest guy. But then he had to leave because the doctor said his wife, it was too cold in New York, and he had to move out to California where it was warmer, and I lost track of him at that time. But I never could understand why DC Comics would release the man who gave them Superman. But hey, that's DC.
Thank you.
Hi Stan, I'm a big fan of all your superheroes, but especially Captain America, and I'm just wondering, what was your inspiration for creating his shields?
I missed the last one. Oh, the shield. I didn't. I can't take credit for Captain America. He was created by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby. When I went to work there, Captain America had just started and was very popular, and they let me start writing some Captain America stories. And then for some reason, and this was years ago, Simon and Kirby were let go at Marvel. And I was all alone there, so I became the editor and the writer, and I started writing Captain America. But he had already been designed with a shield. The only change I made, the shield that they had him use was a triangular shield. And I felt it would look much more dramatic and be more useful if it was a round shield. So I had them change the shield to a round one, which he could throw like a boomerang, and it could stop bullets, you know, all the stuff he does. And that was the only thing I did. But aside from me changing the shape of the shield, I cannot take credit. I wish I could for Captain America. He's a great character, but he was created by Simon and Kirby.
Thank you. Hi, my name is David. Max, I hope you could make sure Mr. hears this, because this is a thank you for you. You've done so much.
That guy?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
He's thanking you for Max. Max?
is the most surprising thing that's ever happened in one of your Q&As.
Well, I'll tell you one guy who's never going to be on the platform with me again.
The reason I'm telling you this is because Max has brought you all around and has made sure you met all of us. I want to tell you the reason I'm so thankful to you, Max. 3 years ago, while doing a private session with Stanley, I skipped a shift at Sick Kids Hospital to see you. I had my Spider-Man underwear on at the time. And do you remember this? No, that's alright, because I told Stanley I was wearing my underwear, I skipped the shift at the hospital. And he said, yes, I will sign your underwear.
Sign it?
Now, Fan Expo.
Are you wearing your Spider-Man underwear now?
I didn't want to risk my luck. Now, Fan Expo told me to stop, but Max, you said it's okay. You let me take off my pants.
Will you leave the stage?
Stan Lee signed my underwear, and the picture of me bottomless with Stan Lee is now on my doctor business card. Please take it.
Let's hear it for a doctor saving lives and taking care of people. Are you going to be signing these later?
He doesn't have trousers on, but he does have shorts on or something. I signed them. Why did I sign them? It took you all this time to say thank you. You could have said thank you when I signed them. It spared us all of this.
Funny thing.
Should I keep him or should I fire him?
He tries to. He tries to all the time. Honestly, we have our discussions, and I bring it up in other panels.
Not discussions, they're arguments. They're fights. Arguments to end the man.
Argument to me is a one-sided conversation. He's trying to put his point across to me, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't report to him. I report to his wife. She writes the checks.
All right, you are now officially a celebrity. You're welcome.
Hey, our mics died out there, so I'm bringing our last question up on stage. Last question, and Stanley's last Canadian.
How does a microphone die? You put a new battery in.
I don't know, maybe I rigged things, Stanley.
What have we here? Oh.
Hello, Stan. Out of all the characters that you've created, Doctor Strange, I find he's my favorite.
Well, you have good taste.
Thank you so much. When I was reading the comic, I always wondered why, when he does his spells, why does he call upon Hoggoth and the Seraphim, which are an entirely created sort of pantheon, instead of, say, an existing pantheon from human history, such as the Norse pantheon, because he does fight Loki in one of the comics. And I wondered, why doesn't he draw on, the magic of Norse gods and say, by the power of Freya or something?
I spend so much time dreaming up those incantations, and you want to know why he says them? He's got to say something. Wait a minute. Is your question why he doesn't use Norse symbolism or? Well, the thing is, we have Thor, and he does the Norse stuff. And I don't like to intrude. Thor might have gotten mad if Dr. Strange used stuff that came from, Odin's area. So Dr. Strange is his universe, Thor has his. And besides, I like making up expressions like by the crystal rings of Sidarok and stuff like that. And of course, you know what all those things mean. You must never say those things unless you're prepared for what may happen. But what is the question? Because I've already used Odin. I have the expressions in Thor. I have Thor saying, what does Thor say? Where can I get a barber shop, I guess? Get a haircut. I gotta tell you, the guy who plays Thor, we are so lucky to have him. Nobody could be a better Thor. I forget his name. Chris Hemsworth. Oh, man. Oh, I'm gonna tell you another thing. Getting back to DC. This is very important, and I think you'll see the logic behind this. DC is not as scientific as Marvel. When they created Superman, the idea was the planet, or whatever planet he came from, had thicker, heavier gravity. So when he landed on Earth, the gravity is so light that he could jump high. He could jump over tall buildings, as they said. But all of a sudden, they had him flying. Now, light gravity doesn't allow you to fly. But Superman just has to go like this. He goes like that, and he flies. At Marvel, we are much more scientific. When I wanted, you were wondering what this had to do with Thor. When I wanted Thor to fly, I wanted a scientific reason why he could fly. So I figured he has the hammer, and it's attached to his wrist by a thumb. So what he does, he spins the hammer around as fast as he can. And you know how fast the Thunder God can swing a hammer around. So he gets it going like an airplane propeller. Then he lets go, but it's attached to his wrist. So it takes him up to Asgard or wherever he wants to go, because it's the swinging of the thing and the letting it go. So it's a perfectly scientific way of having a difference between Marvel and DC. Thank you very much.
Let's hear it one more time for Stephanie. So much on behalf of Fan Expo and everybody in this audience for this once-in-a-lifetime experience that I know I'm going to remember. I'm getting choked up. I'm sure that most of you are too.
I'm going to sure as hell remember it. I got to tell you, you were the best audience I knew you would be. This is probably my last visit to Toronto, but I will never forget it. I think you fans are the greatest. Thanks for making me feel so welcome. Thanks for putting up with him. We both appreciate that.
Well, actually, let's get a round of applause for Max. Let's get a round of applause for Max. So many of you have had so many great experiences with Stan because this man is bringing them out.
And of course, we can't leave without saying, Excelsior!